Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's video. It's December day 5. To all your new subscribers, thank you very much for clicking subscribe, and to everyone who's already a subscriber, thanks for coming back. So I'm just going to show you quickly that I added a few bits to yesterday's spread. I added this little quote here that I heard on Kirsty's Handmade Christmas, which is going on at the minute in the UK, and it's just a little bit about crackers and how they came about. I also added in a couple of bits of journaling, so the paper stars, and this is a screenshot from they did the light switch on, the Christmas light switch on in that town centre. They did it via Facebook Live, so I took a screenshot of it and I just added that in here as well. So, as I said yesterday, I can't help myself but to go back and keep redoing things. So I'm going to add my text in strips, and I'm going to fill this whole space with my journaling for today. I won't make you watch it all. And just like that, it's done. So I've got my tag here from the Christmas tree. We go for an ornament, we do it every year, and I've got a bit of the tree branch that came off when we were putting it all up together. I have this card that I did a while ago, it's a shaker card, and today I sewed around the actual opening because I wanted the sequins to stay in the centre, and I'm much happier with it. I'm going to pop a picture of our Christmas tree on the back, and I've got these few bits that I've set aside for today. I'm not going to use them all. I've done the photos from today and little bits of ephemera that kind of went with the theme, the Christmas tree theme, so I'll have a little play around with that and decide where I want everything to go. So I'm going to make a flip out with this journaling card, and I'm going to use this green glittery washi tape to make the journaling card with. And I want to sandwich the green in on the inside, and then you'll see the sparkly green on the other side. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So I'm going to use Fabri-Tac so it's really good and strong, and I'm going to use that to hold it on this side. I'm going to glue the photo on top so it sandwiches the washi tape in between the photo and the journaling card, and then I'll Fabri-Tac it onto the back side of the page for today. You'll see what I mean. So I hope you're all okay and you're all doing well, and it's so nice to have the Christmas tree up now. It smells lovely and it's just a big relief because it's one of those jobs that I always kind of dread. I've got to squash a Christmas tree into my Fiesta. Me and the kids, like, I nearly had to sacrifice the kid on the way home because we weren't all going to get in. But we made it. You'll be happy to know we all made it home, and the tree is up and it looks brilliant. It just adds a real nice atmosphere to the house when you've got a tree and your lights on, especially when it gets dark, you've got candles going. Oh, I just love that sort of coziness. So it'll be a glass of mulled wine and a Christmas flick for me tonight, I think. So I'm now Fabri-Tacking this, and I'm going to use this as the hinge to create my little flap. So I'm going to stick this onto the back side of the page so it goes into tomorrow's spread. But that's fine, I can cover it up tomorrow if I need to, or I can just enjoy a little bit of green sparkle. So I'm just folding it over to get it nice and centred, exactly where it needs to be, making sure it's well stuck down, and that literally creates the flap. So nice and easy, and I'm just going to use a rubber to get rid of any sticky that might have seeped through and just go over all my text now it's definitely dry. And I noticed on the top right there's a little tab that I'd added and the TR is gone, so I just pulled it off and did a different one. And just to let you know as well, I created the pocket out of some, so this is while I was putting the book together, I created the pocket out of some Christmas tree fabric. On the left hand side there. On the right, those trees are a Paige Evans cut file which I cut out, and I used some dies that I've got to create the stars with different golds. I used some wallpaper, some sparkly cardstock just to create some different golds, and I just embellished that a little bit to make it look as it did. But I did that when I was doing some of the craft sessions with my sister, so my apologies I didn't film that. So I'm just going to use this photo of me and the tree in the car as a little pocket at the bottom. I'm going to sew it on with my sewing machine. The kids were there, they were just ducking, they didn't want to have their photo taken at this point. So it's just me and the tree. And I'm going to create the pocket, trim off the edges, and I'm going to use that to put the photo of the baubles inside. So I'm just trimming that image of the baubles to size, and I didn't realise when I was sewing my label that the tension on the bobbin wasn't right, so it's really loose. I thought it was just because this tag is a bit plasticky, so I just thought it was struggling to go through it, and that's why it was doing that, but I corrected that later and it was like, problem solved. So I used some washi tape here, but I'm actually going to remove this a bit later on. I'm going to change it up a little bit, but you'll see what happens a bit later on. I thought I'd leave this in to show you my initial sort of solution to hiding bad stitching, which is genuinely just stick some washi on it, problem solved. So I'm playing around with my bits again. I know I'm going to have this photo here and this little deer offering the little bunny a gift. I really wanted to include that on this spread somewhere. I don't mind covering up the inside of this tag because it's the same tag that we had last year. What I did want to do is keep the price on it though, because I think that would be quite interesting to look back on in years' time when trees have skyrocketed in price. So I don't mind covering up that information because it literally says the exact same thing that it did last year. If I ever am curious to know the advice that was given with the trees. So I'm going to use this glue, this sort of wet glue, to stick this down because, as I said earlier, this tag is a little bit plasticky. So I wanted to make sure that it stuck down really well, and it's worked fine. So here I am pulling off that washi again to use on this photo, and I like the way it looks on this photo, so I'm going to keep it here. But then when I put my tag back in the pocket, I realised that I don't like the washi on both things together. I think it looks a bit, I don't know, I just wasn't happy with it. So before I realise that, I'm going to do my sort of Christmas tree sprig. I keep a little bit of my Christmas tree each year, and I usually do it exactly the same way as I'm doing it now. I get a little plastic wallet and I sew around it. And it lasts really well. I would just leave it free, but I think it would dry out and all the pines would just fall off eventually. I don't really want to stick in my journal. So sewing around this actually took me 2 goes. This is where I realised that my tension was off, and I looked at it, I cut around it, I thought maybe I can just cover it up a little bit. No, I couldn't cope with it, so I just cut the top off, took the sprig out, and I redid the stitching, and I just in my tension you can see the stitching here is absolutely fine, albeit a little bit wonky, but it's okay. So that's my little Christmas tree branch, and as I said, I do this every year, and I've looked back at my previous journals and they're still fine. In fact, they're still really green. They're like much greener than I expected them to be. They've held their colour really well. So I'm just going to staple that on the top, really far. Like, I want it as close to the top as possible because I still want to be able to get that tag in, and I don't really want the staples to be intrusive. And the clip here is here to hold that down. I added that when I was creating the journal, specifically knowing that I would add a little bit of my Christmas tree branch in, and it would probably be sticking up. So that's there to hold it down. I'm going to add the star at the top, because I don't actually have a star on top of my tree here at the house because it touches the ceiling, and my daughter was saying just cut the top off. I was like, no, can't do that. So there is no star on the top of our tree, so I thought I'd add a star here just to make up for that. So this is a point that I thought I was done, and then I noticed the two washes sitting together, and I just didn't like it. I didn't love the tree paper clip there where it was either, so I've moved up to the top, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of red tinsel along this edge, because you've got to have some tacky tinsel on a Christmas tree spread. And then I'm going to open up the top loop of that Christmas tree paper clip and add a bell. So this is the final thing to do now for this spread. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I like how it's come together. It's not quite how I visualised it. It's better than I visualised it because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with all the photos in that pocket. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it looks, and I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I will see you again tomorrow for December Daily, Day 6. So if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe and you'll be notified when tomorrow's video goes live. So until then, bye for now.